Welcome to Main Street's Tactical Training. I'm Mike Pivacek.
I'm Mark Wilson.
I'm Top Fueler Bueller, and this is gear requirements for the One Day Defensive Handgun class.
We get a lot of email from students asking what's the best weapon to bring to training. The answer really is it's personal preference, but we do recommend you bring what you're going to carry. An absolute must for any successful training event are quality eye protection and ear protection. You have a lot of options out there. We see standard industrial grade ear protection. We also see a lot of the electronic ears. They've got the little amplifiers on there. Makes it much easier to hear your instructors and your range officers. This is what we actually recommend. However, you can use simple earplugs. Even the little foams are perfectly adequate. As for eye protection, good pair of sunglasses is fine. Or, if you prefer, shooting glasses. The advantage of shooting glasses is the interchangeable lenses, which will impact depending on light conditions.
I'd like to talk to you about holsters, the different types of holster options that you have when you come out to training. So I've got a bunch of different holsters here on the table that I'd like to talk about. The holster that we recommend students bring is an inexpensive Kydex holster. Now, Kydex holsters are a plastic material. This is a pancake style holster, just fits in your belt. It is an adjustable holster. You can see it has some tension screws here, right? Now, these holsters are extremely durable. They have really, really good retention of your blaster inside the holster, but yet they come out very quickly and allow you to get your gun out of the holster and on sights perfectly. They're going to last you a long time. They're going to cost you about 30 bucks. Now, there are some holsters to avoid. Number one would be the Phobos unadjustable holster. They're terrible holsters. They have rivets that go around the side, and they're so tight they'll almost pull your pants off trying to get your blaster out. Stick to good high quality ones from 511, Blade Tech, Uncle Mike's, Galco. Those are the good manufacturers of these, and like I say, this is a $30 option for your holster, and it'll last you 5 years. Fantastic. So now this one's much more of a combat style holster and not so much as a concealment holster, but what it has is a feature on it that is a retention button. So it has this little button here that you hear it snap, it holds the gun in. Now there's another manufacturer of holsters that we see out there a lot, which are called, they have a Blackhawk Phobos holsters. And those are okay, but they have to be trained in a very specific manner. Otherwise, people push this little button that's on the front of the holster, and when they come out right on the trigger, and they can give themselves a pinstripe, 9mm wide pinstripe down the edge of their leg. So there is some training issues that have to be dealt with on Blackhawk Surface, but they're an okay holster. Another awesome holster option here, this is a Kydex plastic material appendix carry holster. It's an inside of the waistband holster that carries up front. Now, you can carry this holster at your 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock position if you want to, but it's really designed to be carried up front at about that 1 to 2 o'clock position. Super fast, good retention, outstanding holsters. We highly recommend these and are perfectly acceptable for training. Now, if you're going to go with a leather holster, there's really two options to leather. There's outside of the waistband leather. This is a Galco holster here. No, I'm sorry, this is the DeSantis. This is molded to a Glock. It's a really excellent holster made for carrying on your 3 o'clock. It has different holes in the side here for adjusting the cant of the gun on your belt, but it is an outside of the waistband holster. Good retention, fast holster, outstanding. This is a Galco inside of the waistband holster, leather holster. Now, you have to be careful with inside of the waistband holsters when they're made of leather, because when you present your weapon from the holster, they have a tendency to squish down. It makes it difficult to put your weapon back in the holster. Galco actually makes it with a little piece of spring steel in the front, so the gun or the holster actually remains open when you remove the gun from the holster. So that's a pretty fantastic option. Again, leather holsters are great. They have pros and cons like anything else, but if you want to run them, just buy high quality leather holsters. Now, a holster like this might cost you 80 bucks, right? So that's a heck of a lot more expensive than a Kydex holster. When it comes to nylon holsters, these are your gun show specials that we see. Now, if you get a holster like this one here that is actually formed and shaped for your particular gun, that's a pretty good option. This is made by Eagle USA. It's probably a $25 holster. It has good retention. It doesn't flop around on your belt because it has 3 points of contact with your belt. This is actually a really good nylon style holster. What you want to avoid though is your Super Mole Ninja Gun Show $5 special. This is what we kind of affectionately call as a gun pouch, and half the time your gun doesn't even fit in it. You got all these little flaps flipping around all over. I mean, you can take them off and turn them around. But this is not going to be a concealed carry holster, for one. And two, sometimes you have difficulty getting a good firing grip on your gun and even getting the gun out of the holster. So we would really recommend avoiding this type of holster. They're just not an effective holster. So again, these are the different types of options you have. You can spend as much money as you want to spend or as little money as you want to spend. But at the end of the day, we would recommend that you come in here, buy yourself a good Kydex holster.
I'm going to talk a little bit about magazines, magazine pouches, and the belts that you need to bring to class. We've got a variety of them on the table down here. I'm going to talk through these. First of all, magazines. In general, buy factory magazines. Don't buy cheap knockoffs. You get what you pay for. These are factory Glock magazines. These are factory 1911 magazines. Some things to watch out for. If you're shooting a 1911 with a mag well, you'll want the buffer pads on the bottom so you can easily insert the magazine. If you have flat magazine bottoms on a 1911 with a mag well in it, you'll have a difficult time inserting them. At least 4 magazines, depending on your capacity. If I was shooting a 1911, I'd be inclined to probably bring 6 to class. The Glock's a little higher capacity. 4 magazines is probably plenty. Again, factory mags, well made. Magazine pouches. This is a belt clip-on that goes on here. You can see it holds the magazine securely. That's what we're looking for. Probably a pouch that holds 2 mags is fine. You'll have 1 in the weapon. You can have more in your pocket. Same for the Glocks. I usually have a double and a single on my belt when I'm training. As far as belts go, what you're looking for is sturdy and reliable. A lot of people come out with belts that they might wear on their dress clothes, which you have to have a balance with when you're carrying concealed at work. But in general, for training, you want something stiff. You want something solid that'll hold the holster in place and won't move around. This is a 511 tactical belt. They're great. They're really stiff and they're solid. Here's a leather belt, a typical leather belt, and you can see that it's very flexible, way too flexible. This will get loose on you. It won't hold your weapon in place, and really one of the goals here is to have the weapon in the same place every single time. And then here's one of the old military belts, cloth belt. Again, not really a great choice because it's going to be way too flexible and things are going to be moving around on you. Hey guys, going to talk a little bit about ammo. First and foremost, bring factory ammo. We don't want to see reloads, not because we don't trust people being safe, but it can damage your training experience if you have some unreliable reloads. It can be a hazard for other people around you. Again, we really want to be certain that we're focusing on safety here. Full metal jacket, factory ammo. We've got on the table here, we've got some boxes of 9mm Luger, Winchesters. These are full metal jacket ammo. Full metal jacket means obviously that the tip is completely enclosed. What you don't need is you don't need hollow points carry ammo. Generally speaking, we tell you people to buy, be economically prudent here. You don't need expensive ammo for training. We're training at close distances. We're not doing bullseye shooting. Go to Walmart and get what you can get, and that's what we want you to bring out.
So let's put it all together here. A couple things you're going to need. I would recommend highly bringing out some sunscreen. The ranges that we train at are generally non-protected. There's no trees, there's no shade, so you're going to be sitting out in the sun just baking all day. So bring some sunscreen. It's going to make your experience after training a whole heck of a lot better. Another thing to think about is bring out lots of water. Stay hydrated. As you start to dehydrate on the range, your abilities begin to degrade. You start not making decisions the same way. You start getting tired and unfocused. So you really want to stay hydrated as much as possible.
We hope these tips will help improve your training experience with Mean Streets Tactical. If you have any additional questions, feel free to contact us at meanstreetstactical.com, and we'll see you on the range.